You ever had a boss who thought they could control your entire life? Yeah, mine tried. Big mistake. I've been waiting a while to document this one. Back in my early 20s, I worked as a delivery driver at a bar/pizza joint close to the main college drag. After about 4 months of working there, just enough time to get in good with the rest of the staff, the owner hires a friend of his to manage the joint as the current manager had just left. This guy was the epitome of power trip for no reason asshole boss. He would call you out for little mistakes, make you stay late to help do his job, throw you under the bus when talking to the owner, always bail early, and was convinced everybody liked him. The real deal. We even caught him stealing from our tip jars a couple of times, but the owner never did anything about it. Anyway, I had planned to go out one night with a girl I had just met and wanted to get off work a bit early, go home, and wash the pizza smell off me. I asked, we'll call him, Donnie, if that was possible, and he lost his shit. You would have thought I asked for a raise, bonus, and a 6-month vacation. Despite the fact that 3 drivers from the next shift had showed up already, he started shouting, "What, are you stupid? We have 3 deliveries up. You can stay until your shift is over." That's cool, I thought. He is well within his, albeit asshole, right to make me stay until my shift is over with. I sucked it up and started getting the last deliveries together. However, when he saw where I was taking one of the pizzas, he ordered, not asked, me to pick him up a chocolate shake from a drive-thru joint close by. I flat out told him, no fucking way. You expect me to do you a favor when you wanted me one? Suck it. I grabbed the pizzas and stormed out, Donnie yelling from the kitchen something like, haha. It started getting all political. Oh, I think he's mad. Granted, his past behavior had factored into how angry I was over something pretty minor, but I was fucking furious. The universe had reached its douche quota and beckoned to me to teach this fuck a lesson. As I was driving away from the last delivery, I called the store, got Donnie on the phone, apologized, and said I would get him his milkshake, even pay for it. I went by the drive-thru of the fast food place to get a 32-ounce chocolate milkshake, and then made a beeline to the grocery store right down the street to pick up a family-sized bottle of chocolate-flavored X-Lax. I poured half of the shake out, for me to enjoy later, of course, and mixed in 13 to 15 ounces of X-Lax. Remember, 2 tablespoons, or whatever, will give you a healthy case of the runs. After giving it to him, he said something about it tasting funny, but still managed to inhale that son of a bitch like a true fat boy. He didn't even say thanks. Fast forward 3 hours or so, date lady and I are cruising the bars and head into the bar/pizza joint I worked at. Instantly, the cook makes eye contact with me and comes rushing over, practically falling over patrons. Barely able to contain himself, he tells me, in hysterics, Donnie is having uncontrollable, violent blow shits. He's been in the bathroom since you left, has shit his pants already, and is making this place smell like an open sewer. I go back to the kitchen, and Donnie is nowhere in sight. Right as I start to talk to a fellow pizza slave, though, he comes rushing from the bathroom, pants half on/half off, one hand out in front, and one hand holding his balloon knot shut. He had exhausted the entire restaurant's toilet paper supply and was heading to the bar next door. Best part, he lived about 40 miles away and continued shitting himself periodically throughout the trip home. Despite everybody knowing the true story, though, he never figured it out and blamed the fast food joint for his wild ride on the Hershey Highway. I think the whole ordeal humbled him a bit because he ended up turning into a decent guy. I worked as an installer in a remote office. I traveled a lot for work, often spending weekends on site. This was fine under my old boss, who gave me a lot of leeway by letting me work from home, gave me comp time, etc. After 4 years, I got a new boss. Also, the company laid off everyone in my office, about 100 people. New boss insisted I come in anyway, 45-minute drive, to sit in an empty office. But I still had to travel Sunday through Friday, with no overtime and no comp time. When I complained to HR, the HR manager told me that since I'm salaried, if they wanted me to work 80 hours a week, I would work 80 hours, and I shouldn't expect any compensation. Everyone I talked to seemed to think this was true. Salaried equals get overtime. This didn't make sense to me. I called the local State Department of Labor office, told them what I did, what I'd been told. They told me to get a lawyer, and if they didn't rectify this, for every dollar they owed me, they would have to pay the state 50 cents in penalties, which is what I did. In a matter of 4 months, I settled out of court, got a new job, got a severance, and made my boss do an exit interview where I told her if she'd been halfway considerate and legally complaint, she wouldn't have to scramble to cover for the next 8 scheduled installs by flying people out from the East Coast and paying them overtime. I sued them for 5 years of overtime, got 40 grand, severance package, letter of recommendation, and told my boss off. I had a bunch of jerk-face bosses who were looking all school year for reasons to fire me. It got to the point where I was turning in 3 times the number of lesson plans and had less freedom to do my job than any other teacher at that school. It was all personal too. Very unprofessional stuff like, my son is in this guy's class, and he does it this way, so you should do it that way also. Meanwhile, I walk by said teacher's class, and he is showing the Peanuts Christmas special. They said my lesson plans weren't detailed enough, so I asked for their best lesson plan from any other teacher, and mine were more detailed, a fact which shocked even me. They spent so much time telling me I was a bad teacher that I actually began to believe it, and still kind of do. Now this school had a free year's license to Rosetta Stone, so I switched my language to Korean and learned Hangul. Almost weekly there would be someone who would say Korean. Who the hell knows Korean? What will you ever do with that? At the end of the year, they told me not to come back, and I said, thank you, but I just got a job in Korea. They had the dean in there to make sure I didn't make a scene, and I think even he was surprised that I was almost laughing as I walked out of the office and shook hands with everyone with a big shit-eating grin on my face. Right now I am sitting here at my desk in Korea, the only native English teacher at my school, and they fucking love me. To tell you the truth, I might have stayed at that job another 5 or 10 years. Getting asked to not come back was the best thing that ever happened to me. Smiley face. TLDR saw the termination of my contract coming, so I used their Rosetta Stone to learn Korean and moved to Korea. So yeah, karma hit him hard. And honestly, I don't regret a single thing.